You're live.
Okay, great, thank you. This is Senate and House Institutions and Correction. And it's a committee of conference, on the Capitol bill. And I'd like us first to introduce ourselves. So I'm Wendy Harrison, chair of our committee, and, I represent the Wyndham district. Did you want to go?
I'm Alice Emmons, state representative from Springfield and chair of this House Corrections Institutions.
And Rob Plunkett, Senator, Bennington District, Vice Chair of Senate Institutions.
John Benson, the Orange District.
Mary Moore, City of Bennington, Devon.
And Brian Minier out of South Burlington. Oh,
Great, so we actually have a good geographical, area. That's terrific. Okay, so we need to look at significant issues. We need to look at items that are low hanging fruit. That would be helpful. I can go through this pretty quickly, but first, let's set schedules for the next meeting. We want to meet later today at 2:00. We had that as our,
We've got some, we can meet later today, but we have some important issues on the floor coming up. I don't know how we got some important amendments coming up on a couple bills. I'm just not sure if those bills are gonna be coming up.
okay,
Because our caucuses are occurring, so I don't know what's happening. I can meet anytime. I think 2:00's a little tight. But we can meet anytime this afternoon, but I really need to get a feel for what's going to happen on the floor, because we got a couple, 3 bills with some real serious things. Okay, we need to be there. So if we can start,
Well,
if we could
yes.
start.
but I'd like to have a couple of future dates in
Yeah,
the queue. So, next Wednesday, the 20th, 9 a.m.
you can't do Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think.
What's your floor schedules in the morning?
10. We started,
You
yeah.
start at 10. How about committees? Are your committees start up in the morning?
No, we're finished with morning committees.
So Tuesday you have full days on the floor, or could you do Tuesday afternoon?
We could possibly do Tuesday afternoon,
It'll be better
but,
to do Tuesday afternoon.
actually I have something, so you can't do 9 o'clock?
On Tuesday?
Yes, no, on Wednesday.
No, I'm talking, let's do Tuesday afternoon before the Wednesday. Because we will have time on Tuesday afternoon.
What time would you have time?
1 o'clock. I would say 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock on Tuesday.
40-minute commute otherwise.
Okay, so let's have that as a possibility, and then
Well, we could also meet later on Tuesday because we'll be exchanging packages.
possibly, but there's something that I need to do on Tuesday afternoon.
What time is that?
It's actually from 1 to 3, so I would miss some of it. But I could do after, it's 1 to 3. So I could do 3:30
Sure.
on Tuesday.
Are we still doing one?
I'm gonna put all of them down
Okay.
so that then we can,
Okay.
that's why I wanna have the list. Okay, so Tuesday 1 and then 3:30 and then post.
I won't
You
be
probably don't
Wednesday.
have evening plans.
We do on Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah, some of us do.
okay. So then Wednesday would 9 a.m. if necessary. How about that? Okay. All right, good. So we have the new spreadsheets. Well, we have our old spreadsheets.
I got version number
Number
7.
7,
So that sounds right.
draft version.
Yeah, let's let,
Yeah, got it. And you can walk us through your changes on the spreadsheet.
yes,
For the record, Scott Moore, Joint Fiscal Office, to make life as easy as possible, I created a new spreadsheet version. This version is hopefully a little less colorful to make it easier to see what's happening. So essentially what this shows again The red is the house. I removed any highlights of changes that the house made to the contract. The green is the Senate. Any changes the Senate made to the house is highlighted in green, and the last column to the right is what the conference committee would come up with.
Yeah.
Hopefully this makes it a little easier to see, so you don't have multiple colors. So, and with that, I'll sit back down.
Thanks.
So I'm probably still gonna use my
Feel free,
G.
but I wanted you to see this, and then as the conference committee makes changes, I will update that last column. The next round of drafts.
Okay. Okay. So. Just wanna. Have multiple ways of looking at this. A fair amount of our changes were in response to the, letter from the administration. And their concerns. And you'll see that we came, in a couple of cases, we got there, but we didn't get there completely, but, and some circumstances changed. Between your committee's, work and our committee's work. All right, so first one I have highlighted is 3 acre. Well, major maintenance, as you all know, is kind of a result rather than a determination. So that was changed because of lots of other changes that happened. 3 acre rule on line 4, Jericho stormwater, everybody's favorite rule. That is one of the items that is in the letter, and we got it closer to what they wanted. It was reduced by 1.5. And the administration wanted it to get to what was their proposal was 2.6 total for the 2 years. And we ended up getting to 2.1. And that was to provide them obviously some of the funding. And what we heard was that there are sites that they are working actively on now. We also heard that the state complex is not one of the sites that they're working on now because it's not ready to be worked on now. So we felt comfortable at that spot.
So did they say that they had more sites that had gotten their permits than when they testified before?
No, they still need their permits, but they or I honestly, I don't know. I shouldn't just say that. I'll
Did they
wait
indicate,
till look back.
did they indicate which ones had the permits and to go? And how much money they have to pay?
Those are really great questions. And so somebody needs to take notes of these questions. Are you not able to do that?
I'm happy to take notes from here, but
Yes. Just because I want to make sure we don't leave question out. So it's the permits and the particular sites. We did talk about this extensively, so happy to do that. Okay, next one. Next one I have bolded is the State House project. The steam lines you changed and we left your changes. We agreed to that.
I don't know what.
The steam lines, because that was a change from the governor's rec. The number 11,
Oh, the HVAC 120.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's not
Yes.
highlighted, so.
Right, so, well, I'm going on the one I have. Just wanted to mention that, so we're good with that change.
Okay.
So the State House entryway and documents, that's governor had nothing. The House had 1.3 million. And we added 25,000 to that. amount. And the reason for that was, that in discussion of that project, we, not realized, but they told us that, there had been some preliminary discussion of, safety on the second floor. And they had decided not to have those conversations, not to get information from the architect. So we had the architect in, and the architect told us that that work was not done. And I personally feel very strongly about safety. And this is a safety issue. And so the 25,000 is to look at ways to provide additional safety on the second floor, because there's nothing. And some of this conversation we actually might have offline also, just to let you know.
So who you referred to a they, is that
VGS, or no, it's
who's the they?
the committee, I believe. And we can find that out if
Which
that's,
you don't know which.
well, there's actually two committees that work on the State House, and you're on, I think, both of them possibly, right?
The only one that I'm not on, but would weigh in on would be the Joint Legislative Management Committee for when they're talking about the state house.
Yes, I'll find out which committee.
And the other one is, the other one is the State House Advisory Committee. It hasn't been for like 3 or 4 years.
And I think that's the committee that should be making these decisions, but that's a conversation at the end. Scott, did you get that one?
Who's the they, Madam Chair?
Yeah. That might be a recurring question. So, all right, and then, so that's section 2, and as I noted previously, the change in major maintenance is a result of other changes. Okay, so now section 3, statewide door controls. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me go first to the Newport, because a change that we made was to move bonded dollars. Hold on. Now this is where I need the new spreadsheet, where it looks like in my notes that we had, you know. Oh, right. So Newport, this doesn't impact the project, except it provides a different funding mechanism. So we shifted it to cash. So
funded dollars to get.
Correct. And to the extent that we could have a policy conversation as part of this process, I would love to talk about cash versus bonded and how that's actually working versus the intent of it. But that's a future conversation. So door controls. Door controls, the administration at 2.7 million. The House took it down to 700,000. I'm glad that we're having this process, because we only heard from you through other folks. So I look forward to having this conversation. We brought it back to the 2.7, again, for safety. We saw that as a safety issue.
So did they say that they had permits for all of their facilities to do this?
I don't know that we asked that. We can look into that.
Were they ready to go with all the facilities?
We had the impression that they were ready to go.
Did you hear testimony from them that they were ready to go with all the facilities and the time frame for that?
We can find out. We heard enough testimony to come to that conclusion.
Okay.
So Wi-Fi installation, we do need to talk about this one. This one has lots of complexity, and it would be helpful to hear from you all. I understand that the House Committee is concerned about not having Wi-Fi in the corrections facilities. This committee is also very concerned about not having Wi-Fi, both for the inmates and the staff. It's critical. We heard that they were not, that the administrator or the PGS or DOC either, or because obviously they're working together, were not prepared. We stressed to them multiple times how important this is. And the 250,000 where we landed is their estimate of what they could reasonably use to go forward in this process. So we'll definitely
There'll be more
speak about that. Yes, I'm sure. So this line 32, this one, I'm gonna find the official version. It's what we did was we're also very concerned, as your committee is, that the conditions in the women's facility are horrendous, and there is potential. I don't want to write it off yet. Some are writing it off of another facility, but in the meantime, we can't just do nothing. And so we spoke. We heard testimony from BGS about what their priorities would be in terms of making the facility more livable. And so bathrooms were first place to start. And so we put in funding for that. In finding a source of the funding for that, there are this is in your all's bailiwick. Normally, the reversions, reallocations, right? Reversions are so there is funding there are funds that already that have been appropriated that have not been used, that if next year would be their deadline year for going into the reversions. And so we did the reversion.
So is that the 598,000?
It was 800 and something thousand. It was 868,850.
But here you've got, for this particular project in the women's facility, unbonded, you've got 598,850. So is that coming from the old bonded dollars that could be up for reallocations next year?
I believe it's bonded dollars, but it's not only that.
Well, I'm just talking about the column. It says bonded dollars for 598,850. So my understanding that one is old bonded dollars that would be up for reallocations come next session.
Looking at, is that it? Are you not?
That's correct.
That's correct. Yes.
John Gray, Office of
Thank you.
Council.
And then you have a $500,000 also added
Right.
to cash.
Right. And that comes to be more than $1 million.
So you basically cut our 1.25 million by about 700,000 for cash.
It's definitely 1.098 is less than 1.250. So this will be something for us to discuss for sure. And then recovery house, that is a you might be familiar with them. They were funded in a capital bill in 2023, I believe.
Well,
And this is for work on their renovations on their building. And we did hear a good testimony on what they do and what they're doing statewide, which is helpful. So we can get them in again when we talk more about that. Okay, historic preservation. There's two of these. The two of these grant programs that are managed by the state historic preservation division. Those were increased from 300,000 to 400,000 each. And the reason behind that, and you may recall that I've advocated for this in previous years. That's money that goes directly to Vermonters. It preserves obviously barns in the barn program, other buildings. Actually, in Bennington has benefited from this. Chittenden obviously has benefited. Chittenden County. I'm sorry?
for many,
Right. No, it's a great program. And what I found out when I was looking at some more details is the average grants are 16,000 and 17,000 in the two programs. So it goes to a lot of individuals and just our landscape and our historic buildings and our historic barns they're precious to Vermonters as well as folks who come visit, and they're authentic. You know, they're not Disney barns. You know, they're real barns, and it's just so important to our economy, and the bang for the buck is there. The $16,000 and $17,000 averages, and so $100,000 in our budget is not very much. But it will significantly increase the number of folks who can use them, and there is more the applications exceeds what they're able to fund by a lot, and I can get you those numbers too. And we can talk about how those programs are different from the other programs. So section 5, the veterans home. I have that out highlighted just because when I was describing this to the Senate, I always want to give a shout out because those folks are just doing so well, and being really picky about state money. And they're balancing state money and services to the people who live there really, really well. I'll continue to be impressed. Okay, so going down, the last one I have on this page is 83A. It's A&R technical support to municipalities and design and implement stormwater utilities. So you'll see other language not on the spreadsheet about stormwater utilities, and it's one of the items that we fund in the clean water area. The $10 million that we have goes to those uses, and so just a little bit about stormwater utilities. I can talk about this for so some towns have stormwater utilities. The ones who have stormwater utilities already have them because they were out of compliance with EPA. And the state received money from the EPA to initiate those stormwater utilities. And a stormwater utility is a way to have revenue in a fair way so that everyone who generates stormwater pays. So folks who don't pay taxes, property taxes, still pay if their property generates stormwater off of the property. And so stormwater, the cost of stormwater, it varies, and it's by town, and it can be half of the public works budget if you look at it, because it's grading, it's ditching, it's culverts, so it has both operating and capital, because you have capital with the culverts and structures, and if you have wastewater, sometimes it goes into the wastewater system. But it's very much related to the 3-acre rule. Stormwater utilities are a way to finance your methods of complying with the 3-acre rule. And so the state is looking at regional stormwater utilities as a revenue source for 3-acre permit, 3-acre rule. Because 3-acre rule is it's a bad name in my opinion. It's just that 3-acre, that's the name that they use because that's the threshold where you have to have certain stormwater utility or stormwater management. And we'll let Senator Benson at some point talk more about this because he's an engineer and has been working on that for years. It's, I believe, and the committee was supportive that towns need revenue to manage stormwater. Towns are subject to the 3-acre rule. This and the challenge in creating a stormwater utility is in the beginning of the utility. That's where it gets complicated. And I'm not saying all towns would want this. But there's probably 15 to 20 towns that would be appropriate to this. And it's not fair that they don't have the benefits that the towns who already have these utilities had. And so this is funding for A&R to help, and it's not going to go very far, but it would help these towns establish the utilities. There are some other things that A&R is supposed to be doing in an existing bill, which is a sample ordinance and some sample guidance, because as I said, the challenge is in establishing the utilities, because you have to find a way to identify the parcels, because the way that the reason it's beneficial, it's fair, I'd say fair, is that you are charged by the amount of runoff that comes off of the property. So to keep it not too complicated, you generally have all of the single family homes of a certain, up to an acre or something, have the same amount. But then when you have larger properties, especially like big commercial properties that have massive pavement, for big parking lots that are only used once a year now, they would get a discount if they remove some of that asphalt and which would reduce the amount of stormwater that they generate on other properties. So I can stop there.
Yeah, I'd like to know what the 100,000 would be actually used for. You said it would help towns to.
Yes.
The dollars be used for.
That would be, well, I would like to talk to A&R more about that. Because I'm looking at this in other areas too, but it needs to relate to the establishment of the utility.
And also, I assume that the addition would be covered under that.
Sure.
It's not.
Right. I can tell you it's the engineering can be 50,000, somewhere 40, 50,000, but we'll,
We can get it.
we'll talk to them about, it's not very much. This wouldn't help that many towns. But you could also look at, something that would help all towns, which is like the guidance that I was talking about, which maybe they're already doing. Oh, they're already doing.
In your own language, right?
Yes, we should. Yes. Yes.
So we can go with that.
Yeah. Okay.
For money changes.
Yeah, I think so. So,
So there is, okay,
so there are a couple of not money changes. Oh, because we did we didn't do a strike off.
right. So. The money, language changes, you're more towards the back.
Yeah, just looking at my notes. The other. Yeah, so oh, you're looking at that page. I have the, what was it?
Yeah, I'm looking at
It's
that.
the fourth to the last page.
And what section?
It's the section 9. So capital infrastructure sub-account. Wait, maybe that's not. Oh, yeah, so actually, this is the list of all the cash changes.
Okay,
The seventh instance of amendment is section 9, that is the cash appropriations. I believe.
so we'll compare that with our version, because you've done some switches there. Where some of it has been bonded on our side and.
Exactly, yes.
Figure that out.
Senator Harrison, the other policy changes, don't forget, there's the Little River lease.
Right,
That's what I'm getting.
that, I think, yeah, we're good.
That's the 8th amendment. It's on page 14.
Yes.
Sorry, which one do you have?
I have your draft.
Okay.
So it's the 9th, it's the 8th amendment that changes authorizing to. Let's try to takes out authorizing to enter into.
Right.
To negotiate.
Right. And the reason, and now I'm gonna go to your bill, or your bill is.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, well, first of all, it sounds like just a wonderful project, a terrific project. Where, yeah, it's like page 18. Yeah, the Goodell House. So. Yeah, so we looked at this. The Vermont Huts folks, they have received like $3.8 million funding from the federal government, which is great. And so they would use that to at least renovate the good old house, good old house. And which is at Little River State Park. The concern is that this language has it explains the types of information or subjects that need to be in the lease, but there aren't any boundaries, and it just looked like a blank check in a way.
What do you mean?
Well, like the fee to compensate the state, fee formula. Yeah, this is public property, and leases are we're allowing them to get revenue from this property, which is fine, makes sense, especially because they're providing the funding to restore the property.
So I'm just looking at the language, provided that the lease specifies the fee or fee formula. So,
Right.
so what's the issue?
The issue is that the legislature should have some sort of limit on that or guidance on that. And there might, I mean, the fee is the obvious one to me, but, there could be other items. So this one, we didn't have time to, work on any suggested, language because, well, it's time obviously, but we didn't want to do language for maybe for just one section because there might be other sections that we need to talk about. Like provisions for termination of lease. I mean, that's another example of just something that's a category that should be in the lease, but it's not a lease, you know, it's we need, I believe that the legislature should be,
More involved.
yes, not in everything, but yes, more than is shown here. Okay, and then the repeal of the authority to sell 110 State Street. So that was something that we authorized 4 years ago, maybe. I think it was my first year, and it's so just everybody, I'm sure most people know we're here. It's where the state attorneys are, the Association of State Attorneys and Sheriffs is right now. It's on the corner. It's a beautiful historic building. It's a focal point. As you come into the Capitol complex, it anchors that corner of the Capitol complex. And it concerned me to just have it in a state where it could be sold without our knowledge. And now that and I had those concerns when we did it, express those concerns. At that time, I had thought that, or we thought then there was a possibility that the city of Montpelier might be interested. That was before floods, so it's a different situation now. So I thought that it would be better to rescind that authority. It doesn't mean that we can't give back that authority at another time, but especially when the state is looking for property and state is entering into leases for employees. So it seems prudent to keep what we have that is obviously very close to the center.
Is that building, would that building be discussed as part of with FEMA?
Yes, it is. It is. And the administration does have concerns about this proposal. Oh, and we're back to stormwater utilities. So, so this language that there's no funding in this. So the state is I started to talk about that. The state is looking at regional stormwater utilities. There's a working group. I'm going to their meetings, and what has been my concern, and actually it says it in their documents. My concern is that regional utilities would almost certainly preclude individual stormwater utilities. And so I don't want towns to not be able to do stormwater utilities because the state has preempted that with a regional stormwater utility. And there are other ways that the state could get pretty much the same revenue. There are water management districts, that's a way that they could get revenue. It doesn't need to be a utility, and a utility doesn't make functional sense when you look at a region. So that's the short version. So, so there's two parts of it. Wait,
So your concern.
oh, I'm looking at the wrong.
Yeah, so your concern is if there is the development of a regional stormwater utility, we're preempting municipal stormwater utility form.
Mostly yes, but the way the language is written is that the state couldn't do a regional utility that does preempt. If the state can find a way to do a regional utility that doesn't preempt, sounds fine, great. But so far it looks pretty unlikely. So that's to protect towns.
Yeah, okay. So much time. Are there? I think that's. the
I
last
think that's
thing.
it.
I think that's it. Okay, what we'll do on our end here, the three of us will go over these explanations and your amendments,
And we'll have more information.
and we'll present a package the next time we meet.
Okay.
So we'll need time for us to put together a package. I don't know what's happening. I know we got some controversial bills. For that thing. Let us see what's happening on the floor. You're done for the day?
Yes. I mean, we will all be working hard, but we don't have official meetings.
Let's find out what's going on the floor.
Yeah,
So we got two controversial bills,
Okay.
controversial amendments. I don't know, they may put those off and they may decide to take them off. We're gonna need time to put together, go through this, put together a package. I hate not to meet late on today, but I'm not gonna know that for at least 15-20 minutes.
Let me know in 15 minutes, but I would prefer to not go later than 3.
Okay, yes, we're gonna go.
Yeah.
On track, some of us on this to
Right.
I can make arrangements to do it much later, but
So you won't be able to meet later than 3?
Well, I want us to end at 3 as
You
well.
want us to end at 3?
I could make arrangements to meet later
Okay.
if needed. I just need to know.
Yeah, let us get back up there, see what's happening.
Okay.
On the floor, and we're gonna need time to put together a package. If we don't meet again this afternoon, we're gonna meet Tuesday.
That's what I wrote somewhere, right? Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
Tuesday in the afternoon.
afternoon, because we'll get some important stuff. It's gonna take a while.
No, it's-
And roll calls is what I'm afraid of too.
Right, no.
So let me check in, see what's going on, and then
We'll see you today or 1, 2, 2.
Tuesday at 1.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.